Yo, what's up, TAS fam? What's going on out there, TAS family? We are live at Jay's studio. Jay of Operation Audio and Bohemesphere Studio, sitting right here.
Robinhood is an investing app that lets
That's on the video?
Yeah,
Robinhood? I don't know what the
fucking commercial.
I might take that shit off, man. I might just demonetize it.
Yo, anybody out there or what?
Is there anybody out there? I like the setup in here tonight, man. It looks good.
Yeah, I used Joby for the
Oh, nice, dude.
for that light.
That's sick. Yeah, Joey's sick, man. I'm really glad I
Justice French
that
in the
thing.
house.
Justice Frank. What up? What's going on, Justice? Yeah, those Joby things are pretty sick, man. That's like this guy Casey Neistat. He uses those for his vlog stuff. He's like a big YouTuber guy. And for a minute there, I was like, I got bit by the Casey Neistat bug because he's just infectious, you know. And I was
Never
like,
watched him. I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
take your word for it though.
yeah, he's like the one of the big dudes on there on the platform, and he's known for doing like daily vlogs and stuff. But he uses those, and a lot of his disciples use those things, and they're pretty sick.
Yeah, that's what I shot my Instagram delay loop video with.
Oh,
I
cool.
brought that home with the camera clamp.
Nice, man. Yeah. Once you get the right clamps for it and everything, like that, just the light just screws right onto that, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's got the it's sick. Cool. We got going. Well, we got James. What's up, buddy? Jeremy. Oh, Dennis. What's up, buddy? Jason. Yo, what's going on, fam? Yeah, this is the last stream of 2018, fellas. People out there, all you people out there. Man, wrapping up a big year. Big fucking year, man.
Yeah.
A lot going down. I think we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of live streaming too, Jay.
I thought we were past that already.
No, I believe Catface made the point that the first few were like I was doing like the solo ones for like 2 weeks straight. So I think maybe when we hit the 70s, we're probably approaching our 1 year. Especially if you and I showing up every week. I mean, obviously taking a couple weeks off, but you gotta do that. I was actually talking with Bo Beats, or I mentioned on his he has a he's thinking about doing more live streaming, and I mentioned that today on the forum. I was talking with him. Well, I haven't gotten a chance to get back to him, but pretty cool. So hopefully we'll see more Bo Beats live streams. And who knows? Maybe you might find me on there too. I don't know. We were talking a little bit. You mentioned, I don't know. Shouldn't get ahead of myself, but I guess my point with it is live streaming is sick. I think once you can you can commit to it, it's a lot of fun. Like I almost feel like this is almost like our band practice. Like even though we don't play, it is almost like band practice. Show up once a week and chat with the fam, see what's up.
I feel like this light is
Is it too bright?
like unusually in the shot.
Yeah, you guys saw the art Jason sent with the unboxing vid, right? Really cool stuff. I gotta get some. I don't know if you saw that vid, but Jason sent me some art. I gotta get that.
No YouTube anything this week.
He sent some. I guess it's like woodblock or like linoleum prints, where you kind of like carve out a print and then. So that's pretty sick. I'm excited to get some frames for those. That's what these guys are talking about.
Over.
Yo, Matt, what's up, buddy? Yeah. What's the and check out Jason's stuff, redred.bandcamp.com. That's the tape he sent. If you guys want to check that stuff out. Yeah. So I don't know what else is going on, Jay. I mean, last week, I don't know. Yeah. Last week we were chatting about a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this week I wanted to talk about 2019. What do you guys want to see in 2019? I have some ideas. I got some stuff I want to do, but if there's anything that y'all want to see on the channel, now would be the time to chat about it. Maybe I'll do another stream talking about it, or maybe make a video talking about it or something. But
You think we got enough audio? Yo, what's up audio wise out there? You guys hear us all right?
yeah, should we turn it up? Is it good?
I haven't adjusted anything since last time, but that doesn't mean anything.
Should we move the mic closer to us, or?
It is actually closer to us than it has been.
Oh.
I was hooking up in the wall up there, remember?
Yeah, I know it was like hanging there or over here.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Doesn't seem like it's
Not picking us up good?
no. Doesn't seem like it's quite as loud as normal.
It sounded good here. Everybody's saying it sounded good, so. James said, I want to see my bank account grow for 2019. 2019 expansion, GoPro.
Putting just a touch more gain on that. So,
Oh shoot, Matt. What's up, Matt? You would have forgotten about the stream. You hadn't gotten a notification. Damn, man, I'm glad you made it, bro. Yeah, Twin, what's up, buddy? Happy holidays. Good to see you. I gotta say, Twin, too, thank you so much for sending the Strawberry Sleepover tape. I actually used that to help me get my mastering levels for Just the Trick set. I was listening to your tape and comparing it with, you know, the Sonics and things, and it was really, really useful for me in that regard. So, thanks for sending that, bro. It's a little quiet, but I can turn it up. Mr. Basic, what up, buddy? Yeah, I guess we'll Jay's gonna adjust it a little bit. We're still it's always a work in progress, you know. It's like with the audio and stuff, you know. I feel like we're figuring it out. This system seems to work pretty good. We have the Jay now has a adapter here for my phone, so now we can, you know, run some audio through it. Maybe eventually we'll get mics. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Like mics, like almost like we're on a podcast or something. But
that should be a substantial amount louder than it was.
Jay said we should be a lot louder. You probably just heard me say that. I don't know why I'm repeating it. Oh my god. Yo, what's up? What's up, Steve? What's going on, buddy? I meant specifically in terms of the channel, but you could definitely air your political grievances too. Cheap models with image stabilization, but you're really not moving. Are you talking about the GoPros? Oh, GoPros. Yeah. What do you mean by expansion, Jeremy? Just curious. When you say 2019 expansion GoPro, are those two separate things, or is that like a model GoPro? I think it'd be cool to see what you use. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's something I was meaning to tinker with. Is having like I have like another camera set up. I just use my phone now. I think I was telling Jay about it. Like, I have a setup now where in certain situations I can have the phone right above where I'm shooting, and then the main camera. So I think I'm going to be moving to like a 2-camera setup, utilizing my phone technology. So and possibly even for a live stream, I might, you know, figure out a way to do more than one camera. I don't know. Depending on the type of stream. If it's just us chilling, there's really no reason for that. But if it's us trying to demonstrate something, then it might be really cool to have that. So been thinking about that. But yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I wasn't sure if that was just me or if other people would find that fun or useful. I don't know. I just think it's a cool hobby, like learning how to live stream and doing all this stuff with this. So I think it's something I definitely want to expand when I got some funds to do it. So awesome. Yeah, 2019, I definitely want to do some more streaming, whether that's another day of streaming, whether it's appearing on other people's streams, other YouTuber streams, whether it's having more YouTube people interviewed on the streams. What's the shirt, Jay?
It's a Tongue Soul vintage
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
$65.50. No, it's new.
Awesome. Yeah. I think Jay. So what have you been looking? You've been looking at some film software, Jay? Some editing software?
Yeah, just the old version of Final Cut. Got to do more jobs though, cause that shit costs money.
Yeah. For sure, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying with like the live stream stuff too. It's like I want to get that stuff, but it's gonna be a lot. I gotta start working a lot more, you know. Pounding the pavement a little bit more. Twin, is that I'm assuming that's a joke, right? I got one of those R2 preamps for Christmas. You guys have any experience with those? That's dope, man. Congrats on the acquisition. I think that's a great piece of gear. I think you'll be using it a lot. Yo, Stefan, what's up, buddy? point of view live streams. Yeah, I think for certain kind of videos that would be really useful. It's kind of like the first video I ever put up with the 424. It's just kind of an overhead shot of it. But I want to maybe do a stream where I'm writing a song either once a month or weekly. I don't know. Might be crazy for weekly, but definitely want to expand the live capabilities because I think it's really fun to do. And I see a lot of other YouTubers are starting to do that too. So we'll see. That's awesome. Expansion on your philosophies and interviews with real people like the pizza guy. Oh, did you see the interview with Pat?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Yeah, me and Pat chatted. I thought he'd be a fun person to have on the channel. Pat was he's a really cool dude. I don't know if anybody's seen that podcast, but we actually played a couple shows there together, right? We recorded Jay's band there at the pizza place. Like, I don't know, Pat's a really good dude, man. I feel like he's really really supports the scene. The scene doesn't really support him back, but he's a real DIY dude at heart and true to what he wants to do. But
he gave the scene too much for the asking, I think, is the issue there, man.
yeah,
He came out swinging and let everybody do whatever they wanted.
yeah, he has his open. He has kind of an open door policy. I think he's kind of realized that's.
Yeah.
He's kind of come to the realization that that's just not going to work for what he's doing.
Because you still got to pay rent somehow.
I think he's talking about selling off the business now and getting somebody else in there who wants to just run pizza. Pretty much do what he wanted to do, but somebody who's going to try to do it in a way that's going to make money, I guess. Like, you know, having door people, sound people. Remains to be seen. I wish him the best of luck in 2019. I think that would be dope. I still hold to I think it's probably the best venue and easily the best DIY venue in the Hudson Valley, but it's kind of
certainly one of the most consistent.
Yeah, it's kind of I hope that there's more in store for that place in 2019. I'll definitely see if I can get more peeps like that on the stream, man. I got some ideas for some other people I want to get through here. We'll see if we can make it happen.
Hey, Stefan, you heard something snap when you swap tubes? Did you swap tubes in that thing with the power on? Because that would never be recommended, just for what that's worth.
Oh shit, that reminds me too. Stefan said I have 2R Pro preamps and change the tubes on. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
We did that video about the tube swap. I don't think I ever edited that together.
I don't know.
Shit, that's something I want to do too, man. I got so many video ideas and videos that are like half done that I need to like shoot out there. So
that Behringer Tube MP copy right there on the floor. That's what happened to that. Changed tubes in it.
And then it just shot out.
Never been right since. Does weird shit.
Weird.
And then they're not exactly serviceable, so it's kind of dead is dead.
Twin said, heard changing the tube makes a lot of difference. We found that it didn't, at least with the R tube MP, it didn't really. We put that one. I did keep that one in there, LPS,
yeah.
which I think it made like a slight difference, but it wasn't like enough.
I think I had an entire stream worth of rant about how little difference that makes before we went and did that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should find that and edit that all together into one like mini doc on swapping tubes and those things. Because we shot a whole video here. I remember we were going through it. I don't remember why. I think I just like there were so many projects, man. That's the thing too for 2019. I have so many. I have a fucking like Excel spreadsheet.
What's up there, Turtleneck?
Google Doc. Hey, Turtleneck. With just like probably 100 different video ideas that have come across on the channel. People emailed stuff we've started, stuff I've started, stuff I gotta finish. You know, like more drum stuff, like or more drum sample packs. You know, it's I don't know. I think that's what I gotta do. Get a little more organized. I think I'm gonna look back at what a lot of people seem to dig the most on the channel and focus on like getting those videos out first, because kind of goes back to what I was saying about like the scatter shot and targeted thing. It's like I think for a while now I've kind of been just kind of throwing everything up like what's that guy? Jackson Pollock style, you know, just
Yeah.
like fucking
Making a fucking mess.
making a fucking mess. And now I think I can kind of start seeing like, okay, now what I can do to clean this up a bit. There's something else. I saw Steve said something. He said Jay and me and Jay in the studio more were playing the tracks, or we should. I do want to do another live performance. I don't know. I was gonna see what people thought of it. So I wanted to do Just a Trick live. You know, it'd probably only be like a 15-minute set, if that. But doing that live, either acoustic or if we did it here, or somehow, you know,
Do it here.
I think that could be fun.
The beats are pretty simple.
Yeah. It wouldn't be much to put together. I even had a crazy idea, but I think it would be potentially more work than it would be worth. But I was almost thinking when I went to see Pat, the pizza guy, I was like, shit. He has Wi-Fi there. Potentially streaming a set from there with Pat on bass. You know, you doing the drums and the sounds. But then again, that would be. I mean, we could probably make it work with pretty much just showing up and just gung ho. But I thought that could be cool, doing some sort of live stream set.
If you did it in headphones and you brought an interface so you could control what the sound does, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like.
Because you gotta have some kind of ambient room thing going on too, so that it.
Yeah.
Now that we have that fucking thing, we can do live sets up here and run it right into the camera off the fucking interface.
Oh yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
just have to make sure it works really well in mono, because if you're gonna be stuck in mono, there is no stereo split on the back side of that.
what did we do the time we did the audio here? We just had it set up. We had the monitors, right?
Put the phone in front of the window.
That worked really well.
Worked all right.
Like for what it was and what we did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe more live sets. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that could be really cool. I don't know how far down that rabbit hole we would go, but just something to test, or like, you know, almost like live streaming a show or live streaming a small set. Or if, you know, you have stuff you guys want to play or something too, get it set up and try it out. I don't know, just to see how it would work. You know.
Well, I think
I don't like, again, I don't know if it'd be more work than it would be worth.
I think the way to do that would be to maybe multi-angle film a set, get the live audio, and do a quickie kind of splice edit and use it for release on a week where we can't stream for some reason.
Yeah. It's make it more of, instead of it live, be more of a.
Well, maybe we could sit down and talk to them and shit.
Oh, but what did you mean when you said like recorded?
Yeah.
So pre-record the set
Yeah.
and then show that and then chat. Oh yeah, that would work.
Or just talk in between songs and do it without the live chat. Like, this is what we went up to this week. Catch you next week.
Yeah, that would be cool. No, I think that'd be dope. I just think that'd be a cool way to incorporate more of what, you know, Steve's saying, some of these other guys were mentioning.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been thinking too. Like I said, ever since I went to Pat's, I was kind of thinking about it. And obviously it's a long. And I was also thinking of promoting it as if, hey, I'm playing a show. If you want to come through, it's Friday night or whatever. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Guess what? It's on the channel. You know, instead of like you have to go out to see it. No, just tune in at this time. It'll be up there forever. If you catch it live, cool. If not, cool.
Reading through these comments, what I think is interesting that a whole bunch of them could hear that train as it came by, but you can't hear us fucking talking when it's dead quiet. How's that a thing?
I don't
You hear
know.
a train screaming like
Isn't it-
300 yards from here, but two of us sitting 8 feet from the microphone, you can't hear. It's so fucking weird. That was a Basement 100. That's Mike's head.
Yeah, it's parked here. I don't have a cab for it anymore, and I figured it's just a paperweight at my house, so if Jay wants to utilize it.
I used that a couple times.
Yeah, and some of the Surmiser stuff, right? You use it. Twin, if you're looking for one, man, I'm definitely looking to sell it. So
There you go.
we could chat. Yeah, I mean it's a sick head. I always thought it would be really good to have if I had a studio space, or I used to use it live, man. It's a great amp for guitar and bass. bass especially, it sounds fucking sick. And guitar, especially if you're in like a one guitar band, you know, if you're just a guitar and a drummer, it really does help fill out the low end. It's got if you got the, you know, like I used to use the Sans amp with that. It sounded fucking sick. The bass settings on it with the guitar. I mean, it doesn't replace a bass, right? But it's a great amp. I always wanted to get another cab for it, but I just can't. Like,
That's basically it. Fucking ultralinear twin reverb and a head, minus the reverb, I guess.
oh, that brings me to a question I wanted to ask you about, Jay. What's your take on taking like a super reverb, like my super reverb, and putting it into like a, you know, twin reverb style, you know, like what do you think about just cutting off? I wouldn't cut the super cab. I'm saying is like, how hard would it be to take the super, throw it into a 2x10 cab, and then, you know, what would you have to do differently to it? Basically,
I think the super will fit into the Pro Reverb cabinet, which would put you into 212. Pretty sure that's right. I'd have to check the dimensions for sure, but
I was trying to think of a way to make it more palatable for somebody who'd want to buy it. Because I know, like, super reverb is crazy, man. Like,
well, just knock the baffle out of it with its 410s on it. Put a new baffle in it with whatever speakers you want in it.
Yeah.
You want 212s in that cabinet? Put 212s in there. You want a 15 and an 8? Do that. You got the real estate, I'm sure.
Right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I was just thinking because so many people are lose their shit over like deluxes and Princetons and champs. Like, you can make it. I guess people are still not that down pros though and twins. But I was just thinking if you could somehow.
The Pro is kind of its own thing, but it's definitely a very close relative to the. Or the Super is a very close relative to the.
I used to run a Pro. Those are cool. Pro. We talked about that. You had one too in Surmiser.
I did, yeah, when we first started doing it. No headroom though.
No headroom. That was the issue.
None. Like
that was the issue.
once you hit 4 on the knob, that was all the sound you were fucking getting out of it, and it wasn't getting any louder than that. It would just compress more.
Yep. So. Which was a good sound if that's what you wanted, like especially.
I turned my first channel into a sort of Marshall channel, so at least when it fuzzed out, you had like some of that Marshall dirt instead of just the fucking, I don't know, like blocking distortion shit that the Fender stock channel did.
Yeah.
But
I was just thinking like a conversion service for super reverbs, you know, like if you could have a cab for it that was palatable for people for people that don't want to carry a huge amp but it still has a cool sound, you know. You could turn a super reverb, which they go, you know, you can get one for like $800, $900, $1,000 now.
Yeah, but you could put a single 12 baffle in that thing if you wanted to, and just center the fucking 12 in the middle.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to get a 12 that'll take 40 fucking watts peak. It's really not that tricky.
Maybe something worth exploring in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, and especially if you did like a Neo Magnet 12, those don't weigh jack shit. So
yeah.
One of those is probably a third the weight of all 4 of your 10s put together. So
right. Something I was just thinking about with it again, because like again, if I was ever to sell the Super, it's like it's almost like not even worth selling it because it's. I mean, I got it for a good deal and fixed it up because it was in pretty bad disrepair, but yeah, it's just kind of collecting dust for me right now. I don't know if I'll ever really have a chance to put it back into service.
Hey Matt, the microphone pickup is defined by the name it's given. So like unidirectional, omnidirectional, cardioid, supercardioid, hypercardioid. They all pick up slightly differently. You can generally think of it as the lobe of pickup, though, is coming off of whatever the front of whatever the capsule is. So like on the condenser mic we're using here, you know, you'd be looking at, I'll pick it up and show you. So like on this mic, this is the front of the grill. The capsule's inside here. This is the back, that's the front. So this mic picks up like this, sort of, and the rejection is off the sides and mostly in the back. But Yeah, it really depends on what mic you've got. But the sonics that it captures, regardless of what its pattern is defined as, where the fuck was I going with that? Oh, what it sounds like is going to be defined by how you position it on the source, regardless of what pattern it's defined by. I guess is my point. Yeah. So like, an Omni mic is going to pick up more room because its nulls are further apart or closer together in the back, if you want to think about it that way. But an Omni mic, like pointed, 180 degrees off the fucking side of a speaker cabinet, is going to sound like shit. So, like any mic, regardless of what its pattern is, has to be placed correctly on the source, I guess is my point. He's saying the shape of the mic picks up 360 degrees, question mark. So does it matter which way in rotation you position it, or just the angle and distance from the cone? So I mean, like, you could set that mic in front of a cabinet just like a lollipop and just play with the tilt on it or rotation that way, or you could swing it in from the side and do the same thing. So I guess in that way, yeah, it's all about the angle of it, not really its acclimation from its base. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm understanding that question. Or if I'm answering it correctly. Follow that. Same shape up and down. Is that the same shape up and down as this side to side?
Yo, Twin, let me know if you want the Superman. We could work something out.
Oh, I get what you're saying, Matt. So, like with a 57, you're looking at that 2D picture and it's got like the lobes drawn that come out like the head basket of the mic. If you were to turn that into 3D, then yes, you're looking at like a hemispherical thing with its lobes, Yeah. It's not like if you were to pick that mic up and actually see that pattern coming out, that like this side and this side of the, like if this was a 57, which it isn't, but if it was, and it's showing you like the lobes coming out like this or whatever the fuck it does. If you picked it up, there wouldn't be a null here and here. That lobe works in a 3D fashion over the whole top of this head basket, over the whole top of that dynamic element. He's asking about you see the pattern graphs and shit.
Yeah, you're saying those are actually three-dimensional, not two,
Well, they're drawn two-dimensionally, but if you put it into the third dimension and actually looked at it, it would be like this head basket had like a fucking
like a Venn
3D,
diagram,
like a fucking 3D mushroom sitting on top of it. It's not, it's drawn in the two dimension to not include the detail here and here. It just shows you whatever this does.
Right.
But if you picked it up, it's like a mushroom. It's a global thing around that element.
Yeah.
The nulls are all back here and over here, wherever the fuck they are. But
I think that would be a cool video to do like an explanation about. Get some drawings of it and
it's
just.
a really fucking hard thing to try to explain in words. It'd be really easy to show in like a CAD program where you could actually put it in the third dimension. And look at it, but just imagine like a fucking giant invisible mushroom cap coming off the head of your mic, and that's how the pickup pattern basically is working. The nulls between different kinds of mics change, and the width and the breadth, I guess, of the pattern change depending on what kind of mic it is, but that's universal, yeah. So whatever that head of that thing is pointing at, that's what it's doing.
I just realized Mr. Basic is Ken from Bo's forum, dude. Thanks for coming through. I saw the email update about the thread on the forum, but I didn't get a chance to reply to you. I was working up until the stream, so thanks for coming through. I see that you said that you're using an interface.
In New York City right until.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
I drove up like direct from New York. It was pretty nuts. Like it worked out. It's funny because I had the premonition. I was like, I better pack my shit for Jay's because I'm probably. I was hoping I'm just working up until the stream anyway, but yeah, my lifting today brought me down to New York, so I was came right up here from there. It worked out well. I'm glad that it worked out. I don't know if Mr. Basic's still chilling, but he was saying start using an interface soon to improve my streams a bit. I never considered using an interface for the streams. I don't know, for some reason, like I remember trying to hook up the 424 that one week, and a bunch of you guys were there, and it was like just buzzing. Like I remember I gave you that wire, and you like checked it out because like that one wire I got for it, and then I just never. It's funny now I'm thinking back. There is like that and the other tube video we did. There's just certain things that we like start down the path, and then for some reason there's just too much going on. I forget or just doesn't seem like it's worth trying out. But interface, that might be cool. I see a lot of people doing stuff like almost we could do like a podcast setup. I mean, I don't know. Maybe something to look forward to in 2019. I remember trying to set up my UA to do something like that, and the issue always just comes back to getting the audio into the phone, you know. So I don't know. Maybe something worth testing.
Yeah, Exodus asking about the Pro Junior. The Pro Juniors are alright. You got to do modifications. I think we've talked about this in the past. But
Mustang 3, huh? Oh. Yeah, does anyone else feel like there's been an influx of like Jesus freaks like coming through the stream or like Trump freaks? Like,
is there another one tonight?
well, I posted a video. I posted a comment on somebody's video, a bigger channel, and they left some just like Jesus freak message on there. I don't know if it's just like people have these like spam bots that do it,
I think it's
or
bots. Yeah.
it's like what? I don't know. There's got to be a better way to get people interested in your cult, but I don't know. Than just spamming randos on YouTube, but I don't know. I guess it's always been there. Maybe I'm just been naive about it.
I don't know.
Oh, what about any updates on the onboard fuzz for the guitar? I don't even remember Synsonic.
Yeah, it kind of works, but it's kind of one of my transistors I think blew up.
It still needs some tweaking.
Yeah.
I always said it still needs some twerking. A combination of tweak and work. Maybe it was the Grammys setting up the bots, Mike. Yeah. Is the same Trump equals Jesus person every time? I think it is. No,
I think it's different.
It's different people.
Yeah,
It has been different people over the course of doing this, but it's just funny. I don't know. I don't understand the mentality behind that. Like, but I guess it's just a bot, so there is no mentality behind it. It's just it's a mindless computer program or whatever it is. Yeah, just fucking spamming people. I don't know. I guess I don't know. So weird. It's like the equivalent of walking down the street in New York City and there's just somebody screaming about Jesus, and you know, I feel like it's kind of the same vibe. But
I just walk faster.
yeah, just ignore him. But I don't know. It's just funny. It's like think about it as the equivalent of that. Only 2 different people posted the Trump stuff. Huh.
Damn,
Matt has been
I
keeping
like
track.
that there's fucking stats on that.
Yeah, man. Matt's like the mod. Mods know, man. Oh boy. Yeah. What else are you guys excited for in 2019? Besides, we had James talking about his bank account. We're talking about some upgrades to the channel, some things we're gonna do. I don't know. 2019. The podcast this week is pretty solid. I did it today, this morning, when I woke up. Had an idea. It's inspired by the warrior poet Zach De La Rocha. The title is "Take the Power Back" in 2019.
Oh yeah.
So
Who are you taking it back from? Who has it right now?
The external world, if you
Okay.
give it to them.
Gotcha.
Because I think for me in 2018, I really, and this is what I touch upon on the podcast, the podcast, I really took the power back for myself in 2018, man. I think 2018 was a banner year for me. A big reason is the channel. A big reason is I was doing what I wanted to do each and every day.
Here you go.
Not doing the things I didn't want to do, and I think I'm super excited for 2019. It's the first time I've been really excited about the future in a long time, and I wanted to thank everybody who comes through the chat. I want to thank Jay for all the support and help he's helped me out with in ways in front of and in the studio and stuff. So yeah, man, it's been good. I just so that's what I was gonna say. Just want to invite everybody to fucking take the power back in 2019, man. Do what you want to do. Seize the day. It's changed my life, man. It's crazy. I don't know. I hope I'm not pontificating too much.
I think anytime you can do stuff to get out of the matrix and off of the fucking wheel, man, the better off you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's what your past year has been basically all about.
Yeah, it really has, man.
It's been about,
really has.
Unplugging as much as plugging into other things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really been about making new connections, and I mean that in the kind of like the power plug sort of way, like you're saying, unplugging from connections that are not worth my time or short-circuiting things in my life, and plugging into things that have the exact opposite effect. And it's amazing how much different your life can be. And I don't know, man, it's crazy. Just the power of showing up. Even if you just if you want to write an album this year. I know Jeremy has expressed like wanting to get some music out there. I'm working on mixing a track for him, and it's make this the year that you get that done. Even if it's you set aside a half hour a week to get to that goal. Like, I don't know, take the power back, man. Seize the fucking day. Like, even if it's like I said, a small amount of time each day or each week to work on what you want to work on. Like, go for it.
Seize the day, even if the day starts at 11 a.m. That's for like the last couple months. It kind of feels like that's what my fucking days have been like, man.
Yeah. I mean,
I get up, like fucking climb out of the fucking depression shit and get into the coffee, and by the time I'm settled out and ready to actually go do something, it's like, I don't know, 11:15. Still like in underpants, chain smoking out a window, talking to my cat. Yeah.
That's something we never really talked about, because you and I both
That's
suffer
what I do
from
like
depression.
almost every fucking day, man.
Yeah.
Almost every fucking day.
Because like
people are like, oh, what time you think you can be there? I'd be like, I'm thinking probably like a hard noon. Like,
well, let me ask you something.
What if we start earlier? Like,
what time do you go to bed? Are you a night owl?
It depends.
Because one thing
it depends. I'm usually stuck going to bed by like 11, 11:30, maybe midnight. But
well, because I was thinking if you don't get going until 11.
Oh, I have
go to bed at 3.
But I have like that little energy anyway. By like 10, 11 o'clock at night or whatever,
shot.
I'm just like.
So you have to.
Well, I'm not totally shot actually, because like.
What's your average sleep time per night? Because you're saying like if you go to that's almost 12 hours. Well, what time are you waking up? I guess.
I'm usually waking up somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
But it takes you like 3 solid hours to get the fucking grease out of the.
Easily, and some days it doesn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, I'll be there at 2.
Dude, depression is real, man. It's something. It's funny because for as long
Some
as I've
days
known
you
you,
wake up,
we've
man,
touched
like,
upon this, but we've never actually said it. But like, dude,
some days I wake up and I just want to like go fucking slam my head in the truck door and go back to bed.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
I mean,
but,
that's.
Yeah.
Well, because I was gonna say if because certain people I know that like it takes time to get going. Like if you get going at 9 a.m., then fucking go to bed at 1 a.m. If 9 a.m. is when you feel like, if 11 a.m. is when you feel good, but you're saying is like literally like trying to get that engine turned over for
Yeah.
Depression is real, man. Depression is real.
There are very few things that I actually want to leave the house to do.
Tried taking out antidepressants?
Fuck no, I would never touch them.
Yeah.
I know too many people that have killed themselves after missing doses of those. And
oh,
fucking,
really?
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, it's not good.
What about like exercise or anything like that? Do you do anything? I mean, we do the walks and stuff, but
yeah, I don't do shit like that. No, I think my antidepressant, anti-drug, whatever, is creating music and shit. You know, some of the worst fucking days I have, and the days like where I can't seem to get off my shit and get out of the fucking house for whatever reason, you know, it's like those are the days where I sit around and like write fucking 12-minute Irish epics and shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I think
that's what comes out of that. Or, you know, the other thing is like, and this is why I keep the repair business in my house. It's like those days where like getting out of the house just isn't fucking happening.
Yeah.
You can still go downstairs and work on that shit and make
Yeah.
money. And it's like, you know.
Well, that's a real tactic for dealing with depression. You know, it's like say you can't get out of bed, or say you really need to go to the food store or something, and then that is like an unsurmountable goal. It's as easy as, well, can you get one foot out of bed? Like, just try getting one foot
Oh, yeah.
onto the ground, you know?
Well, I
Like
can
these
always
baby
get out of bed
steps
because I'm not
toward-
allowed to smoke in bed. So
Oh, gotcha.
I gotta
So you have
at
a
least
reason.
hit the window.
Yeah.
Gotta at least make it to the window.
But that, I mean, I don't know, man. I think depression or not, I think everybody has some sort of
Oh, for sure.
something that impedes them from doing what they want. And I
For
think
sure.
for me, what I figured out in terms of my own depression and you know, getting shit going for myself, was a big part of it was getting out of situations with people, places, and things that I didn't want to be in anymore. That was making that depression even worse. And then shifting that into, like we were just saying, unplugging those shitty connections and plugging into some better connections, or trying
Spray that
different
motherfucker
places.
with deoxit and
Yeah, man, and just fucking get the
plug
gunk
it in
out.
somewhere else.
Yeah, and just try to rediscover, like, that's what I was saying that one time on one of the streams, rediscovering that excitement. Because, like, I never feel like this, man. I never always felt like this, but I know that there's some stuff that runs in my family, as I'm sure probably with yours
I think
as well.
I've felt like this just about my entire life.
My entire adult life, me too,
No,
actually.
I mean, like, as
Since you were
long as
like
I
a
can
kid?
remember, pretty much, yeah.
For me, it was like, I think around like 6th grade is when the shift for me. Just right
Yeah.
around the time when you are developing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember like 5th grade and prior was like, I remember just being blissed out, man. Just enjoying life. I used to love going to school, love interacting with people. And then 6th grade, man, is when I fucking blew up. I got like really fat, got really self-conscious. I got really made fun of. I got,
Yeah, I had a lot of problems
people
with that.
talk about like people getting bullied and picked on,
Oh,
man. It's
man.
like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I don't think people know the half of that shit, man. Not that
No.
I think it's like a,
No, I
not
don't
that I'm
think
saying
they
it's like
do.
a badge of honor, but like the
No.
way that people look at that stuff now, it's like, Jesus Christ. If you if you had,
What most kids get nowadays is like a gentle hazing compared to what shit
Yeah.
used to be like when we were in
Yeah.
fucking school, man.
I mean, I guess that's like the whole thing, right? It's always like, in my day, like, we used to get the shit kicked out of us.
Yeah, but
You know?
in our day, we get the shit kicked out of us, and the gym coach would just come in and be like,
Good job. Good job picking on that fat ass.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Anyway, I don't know. This is devolving into, but anyway, it's good though, man. It's cathartic.
That's what it is, man.
I forget why we started
I
talking
guarantee you that a lot of people who come upon this video, or people who are in the stream at this point, can
I think probably can relate.
can
to it.
identify and
Yeah.
relate to at least
Yeah.
some of what we're talking about, because it seems to be the creative types in the world who tend towards that mode of thinking more
Yeah.
than, you know.
For sure.
I don't know why that is. But I will tell you though, like the longer I stay unplugged from the normal rat race, also, like, the worse my going out anxiety gets with shit like that. So
Go, like going outside, you mean?
Well, I mean, I'm not like agoraphobic. I can fucking leave the house, but like the will to actually like get up and go do shit. Like,
Yeah.
I start getting fucking anxious about that sometimes now,
Because I
which is
think
not
that-
something that's ever been a
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I've always had this like low level base of like social anxiety, but I know exactly what you mean, because I think there is something that we crave as humans, is like the routine. Even less like the routine of having a job, even if you fucking hate it.
Well, it's the interaction with other people that comes through having that job. I think
Right.
that I would identify
in
as
some case,
missing.
there's people that are, you know, yeah, seem at some surface level that they care about you and what you're doing, what's going on.
Well, you're all fighting the same fight, whatever it is. So
Yeah, they're all in the same boat. Yeah.
you know, works out pretty good. It was always nice to have like work friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it was just people that like you saw from the time you got there till the time you left, and that was it.
Right.
You know. But it is what it is, man. I don't know.
I think okay, this is what I was gonna say. I think we all have these sort of pasts and things in our past that create who we are. It's like the Rosebud idea from, I've never seen this movie, but it sounds amazing. Citizen Kane.
Okay.
There's something that makes you who you are, and I think that. Well, there's also another point I want to make about this, but I think everybody, I'm sure people in the chat, you gotta figure out what your baseline is for like interacting with the world and the things that you have to work against. Because like I don't know, every day I think Jay can relate to this, is a fucking battle. Some days are better than others, but figuring out a way to hack your own biochemistry or your own like, if you can identify the things that fuck you up or what's really happening with you and figure out a way to hack that to working on what you want to work on, much like the tactic of you got to go to the food store but you can't get out of bed, take one small step in the direction of doing that. Go down, get out, put your both feet on the floor, see how you feel. If you don't feel like doing that, go back to bed. If you get both feet on the floor, go walk into the bathroom and wash up. If you get that far, grab the keys, put them in your pocket, see how that feels. If you're all dressed, like go to the car, start it up, sit in the car for a second, how does it feel? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds fucking crazy, and maybe that's the tactic that works for some people.
You know what makes all that shit a whole lot easier?
Coffee?
Chain smoking.
Yeah.
Chain smoking.
Well, that's the whole thing.
I feel
too,
like
right?
I can make it
you
through
can,
just
like,
about any fucking thing if
yeah.
I'm chain smoking, boy. People
Well,
are like,
'cause
God, you smoke so much when you're hanging out talking to those people. It's like, yeah, because like 5 out of 6 of those people I didn't want to be fucking talking to.
Yeah.
Not at all interested. So like,
But you
the
also
more I'm
enjoy
forced
smoking
into
though
it.
as well. Because I mean, you smoke with me. Does that mean that you don't enjoy talking to me?
no,
That's like a different thing.
It's just part of like the
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. But God, like a lot of times, man, getting like tense or uncomfortable social situations like that is.
See, that's another thing, man. It's like you're
Like,
almost like training yourself to operate on like a level that's distracting you, so that you can relate to reality or interact with reality.
Yeah.
It's like that's. For me, and I think for a lot of people, maybe putting on music is like is a way to meditate into getting work done or going for a walk or exercising. Like,
I never listen to music.
no, what about like I listen to like more like podcasts now. I don't really listen to much music anymore myself.
I just if somebody
I
gives
have
me
noticed
something.
though, like
Somebody gives me something to listen to, I'll put it on, listen to it, or like you gave me the tape. Like I'd rather listen to that tape than the radio when I'm riding around in the fucking truck.
yeah.
So that's in there.
right. I guess I just mean like even for me, like sometimes I put on YouTube videos when I have to go like clean my kitchen or go for a walk or something. Just the way of like getting into a rhythm of something. It kind of like tricks your brain into jump starting, and then your brain, that part of my brain that gets distracted and anxious or the part of my brain that makes me feel anxious and like unable to do certain things becomes suddenly tuned into a rhythm of this like a podcast, and then it distracts me, and then I'm free to roam around the country.
Right.
What is that, T-Mobile?
Yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored. No, and then I feel free to like go do the things that I want to do. Yeah, Bean Trees, I hear you, man. Grocery store is the hardest place for me to go. Try going really early in the morning. There's usually not a lot of people there, and try listening to something when you go. If you can get into your own world, it really helps. That's what really helps me. The other thing I was saying is like, I think there's a lot we didn't catch up on in the chat. See, there's a lot going on. Other thing I was gonna say, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like the channel is slowly shifting into more of a, dare I say, like self-help based stuff. Like even everything we've been talking about tonight is like a lot of the things like we started talking about music, but we've shifted into more, I don't know, tactics for dealing with reality and dealing with depression and things like that. And I don't know, I feel like that's almost where I want to head, like in some ways. So I don't know, I'm not really sure what that means for the future of the channel in 2019.
Hashtag also not a doctor.
Hashtag also not a doctor. Right, so I don't know. I definitely want to do more of that and share more of those experiences and try to help as many people deal with the things that they have to deal with based on my own experiences. I don't know where that's going to lead, if that leads to a separate channel, if that leads to 424 reporting not being about tasking 424s anymore, just about like
424recording.med.
.med, yeah, if it turns into like a CBD oil clinic or something. Like, yeah. I don't know. There's something else thrown out there. Like the podcast, especially, seems like it's becoming more and more. Well, because I'm talking about making this book. Jeremy mentioned it. That's something goal for 2019. I want to distill all the podcasts, all these creative strategies into a book, and maybe that's a little bit different than what we're getting at tonight. But I don't know. Man. I kind of see my goals shifting a little bit, and my interests even shifting. I mentioned that to you too. I said,
Yeah.
I'm more interested in making videos at this point than actually making music. I still want to make music, but in terms of being creative and doing stuff, I have more fun just sitting down making a video, talking to people or doing the podcast or like that shit is fun to me. And sometimes with the music, I don't know. Sometimes I have an unhealthy relationship, or I used to have more of an unhealthy relationship with it. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny, and I think for once in my life, I'm not going to ignore where it feels like maybe things are shifting to. I don't know. But anyway, I'm still committed to doing the music stuff.
One thing for sure, you can't fight a natural progression. So
yeah. I mean, it seems like everybody's is cool with it, and I think that's always kind of been a thread that's been weaved into 424 chording, because like a lot of people have reached out, a lot of people in the chat and by email and on the channel, like saying, "Oh, I'm glad this channel is about more than just, how to use a fucking 4-track recorder." But, just fair warning for 2019. I don't know. We may be getting into some new realms, so I think it's going to be an amazing ride and a great journey. So I'm excited for all who want to explore that stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. I just noticed that becoming something that's like, I kind of want to keep exploring that and keep going with that, and maybe just wrapping it all into some sort of creative thesis about how to get creative projects done, and that's basically what the podcast is. That's what I've been saying, is to each week showing up and kind of writing a chapter of a book. That's what I was telling Beck the other day, like, because she was like, I thought you were going to stop doing the podcast, like you were saying that it was, because I was mentioning that it's like a lot of work, but I enjoyed the solo ones. Are really easy. The ones with Pat were really easy. Some of the guests were super fun and easy to do.
Yeah.
What was starting to stress me out was every week, I gotta find somebody new, and now it's just kind of like, well, now I can do one by myself, and if it's good, it's good. If it's mediocre, it's mediocre. If it's bad, it's bad. Whatever. And if somebody wants to come on, like the other day, Pat came on last week. That was a lot of fun. Kind of
Merry Christmas, Joel.
So it just worked for the thing, Joel's supposed to be coming through with his brother soon. Merry Christmas, buddy. What are you doing up so late, man?
Where's he at?
He's over in the UK. He's rolling. What is it? 5 hours ahead, right? It's not too bad. What is that? Oh no, 1 a.m. Yeah. Up all night. Thanks, Bean Trees. I like the channels, eclectic and natural. Whatever comes up becomes a topic. Hell yeah, man. Creative mind, so it is bound to shift. Cool, man. I appreciate the music, gear, and how-to self-help. I like that. Yeah, maybe that'll be the new tagline for the channel. Oh, Coop's here. What's up, buddy? Fear and Loathing and Giant. Oh, that's the grocery store. I know there's Giant. Where are you from, Turtleneck? Are you up in upstate? I don't know if we ever touched upon that. I know there's some Giants up in Binghamton.
Giant is a grocery store?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Yo, man, get us on the podcast. Yeah, dude, we gotta get that going. I'm thinking Google Hangouts. So Joel is in a band with his brothers called Patron Saint. You should definitely check them out. Is it just Patron Saint at .bandcamp, Joel? We have commercials for Giant, but don't have Giant anywhere here. But yeah, so Joel and his brothers are scheduled to come on the pod at some point. It's really just been a technological flub on my end. I'm trying to figure out how to have them on and not have my computer crash as a result of trying to stream and interview people on Skype simultaneously. So
why do you have to stream simultaneously?
I don't, but it's just easier for everybody because so normally if say I was going to interview you and you live in Seattle or something, it would be, okay, Jay, can you do video? And can you do, because I did this with James actually, Bean Trees, because James was on the podcast I think about 10 episodes ago now, which is crazy. But so like you know, James had to do his own video, and then he had to do his own audio, and then I do my own audio, do my own video, and then just like
You gotta cut it together.
cut it all together, and then because of the nature of the length of it,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes an hour and a half, and then because I don't have like FiOS or some shit, like the file is like will wind up being 6 gigs, 8 gigs. That takes like almost a half of a day, 3 hours. I gotta like have my computer tied up with uploading it.
Yeah.
If we live stream it, as long as Joel and his bros can hear me and their video looks good and mine looks good and I can hear them and we can get the audio onto the stream, even if the stream is posted at a later date, it's uploaded in real time as we do the interview.
Did
and
you
then I
ever
can
try
just
doing it with
push
the
it out.
Xbox Live thing we were talking about?
No, but I think that's also going to be what I'm going to try. I'm going to do with those
I
guys.
think that'll work, man, if you can get it set up so that what you're streaming
Yeah.
will monitor it
I
correctly.
tried that with Freddie actually, and it worked out pretty good. With that new screen I had him on. That was actually the reason. One of the bigger reasons. He also just wanted to hang out and chat, and then also, I also wanted to test out that screen. So I was also thinking that.
I have more of those if you need them.
Yeah, is that one right there?
Yeah. There's another one in the closet, and there's another one at my house.
Yeah, all right. I'll let you know. Like, yeah, I found I found that one by the dumpster, man. It was sick. All it needed was an HDMI cable.
Alright, Bean
HDMI.
Trees, good luck with that flooded bathroom call. We'll be here for
Oh
another
shit, dude.
45
Yeah,
minutes. At least.
Good luck, man. We'll be here, man. Near Philly, 5 minutes off, right before Delaware. Oh, okay. I didn't realize there were Giants down there. I think Jason. No, Jason is in. Wait, Jason's in Wisconsin, right? I just sent him something. It's bad. I can't. My memory's fucked. Or maybe it is Minnesota. What was else we were saying about it? Yeah, doing that would be a good idea. Monitoring, putting somebody on a monitor and then having them. It's kind of funny and it works. Because then it's like, well, now I can just I can just use the phone to stream. There on there. It's almost like having somebody in the room with you, but instead of Jay being here, he'd be on the monitor, which can be pretty good. So
Hey, what's
the
up,
only
Bob?
thing we ran into with Freddie was that he's in Belgium, and for some reason there was a big delay. Well, Simon was also telling me I think he stopped by one of the streams, and he was saying that because I noticed he was doing a stream with some of his friends, and they all did it on Google Hangouts, which seems like it works pretty good.
Joel caught you with super chat.
Oh shit! Thanks, bro. I don't know if I sent it to.
No, I haven't heard any of that.
I didn't forward it to him. I didn't realize you wanted me to, man. Well, I'll forward it right over to him. So Joel's been doing stuff on the 4-track. He's been doing some really sick mixes, man.
Yes.
Him and his bros. I fucking love their band, man. It's so awesome. Patron Saint. Make sure you check those dudes out. A brothers band. 3 brothers in a band. How cool is that? That's like the dream right there, right? It's like when you think when you're gonna have a bunch of kids, it's like, all right, now I have a whole band.
Partridge Family.
Yeah.
Hanson Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a bunch, man. There's a bunch.
But thanks for the super chat, man. Happy Christmas, buddy. I'll forward those over to Jay, man. I don't know if Jay's heard them yet. Oh, the bass player is your buddy Dean. I thought it was all the Glenn Davies boys. My bad. Yeah, thanks, dude. That's sick. But yeah, make sure you guys check that shit out. I don't know. Is it patronsaint.bandcamp? Joel, I'll try to bump it in here. Let's see. Saint.
Damn, we got 15 people on the live chat right now.
Oh wow, that's awesome. What's going on, fam? You're just joining us, Jay and I have. Usually we talk about music and recording, but tonight we were in.
I think it's been a while since we really have mainlined talking about music and recording. If we're being honest here.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well that's the thing, man. It's like
The streams go like every which way. I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it is true. Sometimes we touch upon some really different things and stuff people are thinking about, and I don't know. It's just like the natural flow of conversation, you know. Because we don't have like question after question after question, and I don't think I would want to, man. That's something I've been wanting to make a video on too. Is like I guess this is sort of related to, well, maybe it's not as related to what we're saying, but no, I'll save it for a video or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's just kind of the thing. I was wondering sometimes that if the channel and the content is too scattered, you know, it's like, but I don't know. It's like that's what James was saying. It's like it's very natural and organic, and
Well, I think it depends on if you want to come off as a real person or if you want to come off as like a YouTube entity.
I just want to be a regular guy, man.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like, you watch Creative Sound Labs videos and stuff, right?
Yeah. He uses like that typewriter font, right, or like the label maker font.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that, there's never like a chilling with video with that guy.
Yeah.
It's always just like, here's the information.
Yeah. Which, hey, I mean, that's what works for him. So that's just not really my vibe. Like, I don't know.
Bobby, the Surmiser videos on video on YouTube, yeah, that's us. The trains video,
Oh yeah, do we have a link for that?
I don't know.
Thanks, Stefan. That's what gives this channel its charm. It's authentic. Muy authentico. Thank you, bro. I'm glad that that's the way it comes across.
If you went and watched Bobby, if you went and watched old like live performance video that's on there, we had a different drummer in the beginning, so. But that's about it.
Yeah.
The
Search
trains
that.
video, trains video we shot right up here.
Yeah. I had a part in that.
Yeah.
We used the 424, the camera I used for all the 424 vids. It was a really fun and funny day. And the thing I love about working with you, Jay, is that whatever project we work on, like especially if it's music, recording, whatever, and the video is a great example, is like we crack that shit out. Like we just had this level that we operate on, and it's synergistic, and it's just like, it's like you're picking up what I'm putting down, and vice versa, and it's like, boom, boom, boom. Like that's like the best kind of creative working relationship I think you can find. Is one where it's like the other person just gets you. There's no like roadblocks, there's no like stop signs. It's just like go, 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 go. We understand where it's heading, what we're trying to do, and that's like the most refreshing. I don't know. When you find those types of relationships, I think it's important to follow those and see where they lead, which is what we're doing, and we're yeah, with streaming and stuff. But yeah, so that video was really fun. I showed up, not really knowing what to expect. It was just like, bring your camera, we're gonna do some live stuff. You know, these guys had some footage, and then the first thing I remember, I'll never forget, is as soon as I came up here, it was like fucking smoke out.
Yeah.
It was like the fog. It was like being in like a swamp in like that movie Never Ending Story where there's like this clouds everywhere.
I went through 4 tanks of fog juice that day.
That was insane. It was like we had the door closed here, and it was just like that was fucking sick. But anyway, if you want to see the video,
and it was all these same fucking lights that were lighting the live stream with.
That's right. Was it? Yeah, that's right.
2 of mine and 1 of yours.
And I brought the other one. Yeah. Now I have those other big lights too, man. We could do some shit with that too. But yeah, these are sick lights. I mean, Neewer, I think, is the brand. CN160.
Yeah, they're fucking cheap shit, but they work good.
Yeah, like $20 a piece, man. That's the thing that's beautiful about doing all this stuff now. Is in the past.
I mean, they're about bright as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's I think depending, they have like a shit ton of LEDs, and they don't really draw a lot of energy, I don't think, and they're not as they don't get hot.
They get warm, but yeah, not hot.
Well, compared to like, if you were on like a film set in like the 80s and you had lights like this.
Oh yeah, where you could walk up and light your fucking cigarette off the housing. Yeah. And
then also like that's what's the beautiful thing I was gonna say is this stuff is so cheap now, whereas in the past you'd have to rent it from a lighting company or get like some grips or whatever that stuff is. It's like now you can just buy these lights for $50 and shoot your own stuff. And I used all these for the original thumbnail pics, like the ones that are pretty good pictures. I had like a photo session in my house where I just like, Beck was helping me do it and just doing like rando shit for that, and that was fun. But yeah, so the Surmiser Trains video, I would say just Google Surmiser Trains, right? On YouTube or YouTube it. Check it out. Let us know what you think.
You can get it either way.
Yeah. Sure, it'll pop up.
If you Google us, you'll find a bunch
fun
of
ass video to
shit.
make. That's where I got the idea for using that VHS app, man.
Yeah.
Halloween video.
Yeah.
That was fun stuff, man. Something about that VHS app, it's just dope. I don't know. It just looks cool. Okay, Joel's saying just a stereo and a tiny bit of mixing.
Bobby, if you email me
More live stuff. Okay.
an address, I could send you the actual physical copy of that CD if you want.
Well, oh, I could have sent it to him with just a trick. Did you get your tape, Bobby? I don't know if I remember if you got it yet or not. What CD is that? Oh, the Smash one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. I could have thrown it in with their little care package. Yeah, so I don't know, 2019. Appreciate that, Joel. I think more live stuff. Yeah, I feel like the live stuff. I don't know if it's. I just enjoy doing it. Really, you know, it's so much fun to be here and show up and hang out. I want to try doing more, maybe tutorial-based stuff, or I was telling Bo on his forum today. I mentioned like, say you had a video where you wanted to mic. Say the video is called "Miking Guitar Cabs." Rather than making, well, there's two ways you could do it. Rather than making a video of just a really shot together thing, you could literally go live for 10 minutes and show people all these techniques. And then if you really wanted to edit it together, you can download that file,
Right.
and then edit it together and then re-release it as something. So I don't know. That's something I want to try doing more on the channel, is having topics or even.
I would say in terms of mic and guitar cabinets, because that comes up a lot.
That was like literally the first thing.
Yeah, I mean, so many people ask that question all over the place too, and there's so many guys that have made really, really confusing videos about it. The one thing that nobody covers in depth is how to set the fucking thing up so you can monitor it in headphones while you move the mic around and decide where it sounds best.
Well,
There's all these guys that are like, oh, you gotta, flip the phase on this thing and put 3 mics up and move this, and if it doesn't sound good, put one behind it. Like, dude, man, fucking set it up to input monitor, have some asshole play guitar, put your fucking headphones on loud, and move one microphone around and figure out where it sounds good.
Yeah.
When you find the sweet spot, put a little square tape around it or whatever, or don't if it's not your shit. Use that spot. If you find
really,
3 or 4 spots,
you're saying once you find the
those.
spot, you can just tape it off.
You can. It only works for that cabinet, but
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the thing. Is like once you do that. So say you only, because I think the thing a lot of people run into, and I know especially a lot of bedroom people doing stuff themselves, they don't have another person to help them.
Well, a lot of them also have either a recording device of some kind or a loop pedal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. That's not a
play some guitar, loop it back out to your fucking amp, and monitor it coming through.
Put something in Logic even. You can just loop it, record
it. But you got it. Your headphones have to be loud enough for you to hear what that input is actually doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because it gets colored if you hear the stuff that's coming in the room.
Yeah.
That interacts with what you're hearing. Yeah.
So keep the amp down if at all possible. Or at least
I gotta say, man, the Albini trick, that's been my go-to, and it works out really well with the tube amp stuff. Fucking crank it, get it so that amp is humming. You hear that hum in the speaker. And then Albini's thing is point that where that hum sounds the nastiest. Yeah, and that, I gotta say, man, I don't know, 99 times out of 100, literally.
And not for nothing with a tube amp, it's not hard to get that hum to come out. It really isn't, like...
But that's such an easy trick, and you don't even need to be playing.
And if for some reason your tube amp is dead silent, if your guitar has single coil pickups, lay your guitar whichever way.
Yeah.
So that one of those pickups is dead in line with where the power transformer is in your amp, and I guarantee you it will hum.
Yeah.
It will most definitely hum, and you can play with that trick.
Such an easy
even
trick.
Without high gain.
Yeah, and then you can hear too in the headphones. Monitor in headphones. Move your SM57 wherever you got. Get that speaker humming, and find where it sounds the nastiest, brutalest, or you just hear where, I don't know. If after you do that a few times, you can just kind of hear, based on that hum, maybe an idea of what the coloration is going to sound like.
You'll get used to, once you know where the sweet spot is on a few cabinets, you'll certainly get used to, like, you can draw a conclusion from what those sweet spots are.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, if I'm like in the center of the cone, off the left edge, slightly off axis, like, and that's what you're going to pretty often or on almost everything, like, that to you is where that sounds best. So now you probably don't have to do that search for a trick anymore, because you know that like every time you do that trick and waste 20 minutes doing it, you end up in the same fucking spot anyway.
Yeah.
Like, just do that.
That's the beauty of guitars, right? It's not like drums where like you were saying, based on any day with the weather, from 1 second to the next, the way they're tuned, like you could have your mic set up one day and come back and the next day and it sounds a little different. Guitar amp, for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, like what you're saying is once you find a sweet spot on it and you're used to finding where that is, like you can almost go to that spot.
Well, every speaker's different.
I'm saying, like if you're using the same, like with the Vibro-Champ, like I know exactly where I gotta.
Yeah.
Like I've been
Yeah,
recording that
if
thing
you're
for
using
years.
the same shit all the time, yeah.
All I do is use this is a trick I use in one of the vids.
The
Use
only
a flashlight to see where the speaker is.
Well, that should be a given anyway. I mean,
I can't tell you how many people are
that
like,
green
how am I
cabinet.
supposed to know where the speaker
I've had that green cabinet probably fucking 15 years just about, and I still got to use a flashlight to figure out where the fucking spots are. Cause
Such an easy way to like.
You know,
if you can't see the speakers in the amp
Yeah.
through the grill cloth,
your
get the
cell
little
phone
flashlight.
just roll it until you can.
Shine that shit into that, and on the right angle, you'll see exactly where the thing is. We're yeah. That was see there you go. See, this is a perfect example, right? That whole conversation we just had, that could now be segmented out and put into a video.
Right.
That's the beauty of live streaming too. It's like I see other people doing that. Podcasters doing that. They do a 2-hour-long podcast, go back through and notch out spots, and then they make a new video. And that's also another live stream thing that's really cool for anybody who's looking to live streaming or just the whole to bookend the conversation we were having about that. It's like I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for live streaming. I don't know if it's I'm always like, oh yeah, live streaming is the future. I mean, it's already fucking here. There's people been doing it for years. It's like I always say I'm 5 years beyond the trends, but I think there's more to be found in this technology. I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, there's got to be more to it than just watching people play video games on Twitch. Which, hey, that's fun. I agree sometimes, but
Turtleneck. Any dumb mic placement ideas behind the speaker, another room, contact mics on walls. So I want to just make this statement. There's no such thing as dumb mic placement. There is only things that sound good and work and things that don't.
And then there's also a subjectivity level to that as well.
Well, that'd be the gray area in between.
Okay.
But and scientifically defining things that work and sound good has everything to do with phase relationships. But there's no right or wrong way to eat a Reese's. I mean, not hashtag not sponsored. But there's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as what it comes down to is when you start swinging a bunch of mics around in a bunch of different fucking places and shit, is like you got to make sure that phase coherency is maintained however you're doing it, and that means putting your mix in mono and figuring out what's getting comb filtered by whatever weird things you're doing. But always, if it sounds good, it is good. I mean, there's no, I watch videos all the time with guys putting plastic tubes around shit and taping fucking piezo's to walls and windows, and if it gets you there, I think you should go for it. Recently, my new thing is this. It's a Radio Shack boundary mic that was dead, so I reloaded it with guts from another condenser mic, from an Audix pencil condenser mic, and something's up with the capsule in that thing, so when there's like a loud transient on a cymbal, it goes and then it relaxes again, and like by itself.
That's a really good sound effect.
Yeah, well, that's what it does. I played you that, didn't I?
Oh yeah. But I mean, like after knowing what it is and then hearing your rendition of it,
that's what it does.
Sick.
It kind of like gets like this big thing. I don't know, but by itself, it's like, whoa, that's pretty fucking atrocious. But I'll tell you what, when you put that thing, even with that distortion that it's making, up in a mix with like a stereo pair in your room, like that's the kit. I could build that whole mix out of nothing else. So, it's placed in a weird fucking place and it makes some weird ass sounds, but
it works. It sounds
no,
good.
I don't think there's.
Well, I think
Fucking too close to it, but I'll see if I can pull that up and illustrate the point.
Yeah, I think in general too. I mean, isn't that? I mean, we've talked about this in the past, but and I know everybody has stories and has heard stories, but I mean, recording is a tale as old as time. Experimentation, using gear in ways that
Well,
are
it used to
unexpected
be
to get
that
new sounds.
it used to be that there wasn't even room to experiment. Like in the mono single microphone days, like your experiments were with the placement of musicians.
How loud people were, how soft,
Right. And that was just
how far, how
physical
close.
placement. You know, and then you got into, you know, I guess like the late 50s and in through the 60s where people were really starting to experiment hard and track counts started climbing, you know, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. I mean, and all the mistakes that you could ever make, somebody already made and committed to tape like a long fucking time ago. So, you know, it's all been done. Don't worry about it. If it sounds weird, don't do that again. But I don't think there's any dumb. I don't think it's like.
Well, how about this? Like the dumbest mic placement is the one that you don't try.
Well, that's actually true.
Try them all.
That would actually be true.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's also true.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
So like. I have no idea if you guys can hear this or not, probably. So this is our room sound. And that's our boundary. You can hear it doing like weird shit on the transients, but when you tuck that little motherfucker down in here, compress them all to hell and get his phase set right, EQ on him.
Sick, man. That sounds great.
What you actually get is this whole extra added dimension of whatever. So, yeah. I don't think there's any such thing as dumb. But anyway, you get the point.
Yeah. So it's a nice little spice mic, I think. That's what I always say.
Well, I just did that with the Sylvia Massey trick I did. I'll bring that in.
Oh yeah, the tape recorder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you threw metal zone. That sounds good, man.
So Sylvia Massey likes to talk about finding these in junk shops. I don't have video monitors, so I don't know where I am, but right.
Yeah, that was good. That was good, bro.
These old Panasonic, you know, cassette, fucking whatever joints. I got a session I just did. I set this behind the drum kit. I ran it through my. It's got a headphone monitor out, 8 ohm speaker level. It's got a mic input. I did not use the mic input. I fed that to a Hughes and Kettner Red Box DI, which is in there still, and brought that into the mix and compressed the shit out of it. Man, you get some cool fucking sounds out of that stupid little mic right in there. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, to mirror the turtleneck's question, again, it's using something in a way that's, you know, that thing wasn't meant to be used as like a fucking drum smash mic.
Oh, no, fuck no.
But it sounds amazing.
But then I also have this one, so this will be the next one I try. It's a little realistic fucking joint.
That's nice, man.
With a little record thing in it. Got a little tiny mic in there. And this one has... It's got a mic and earpiece out, and it's got a remote, so you can shut it off. Also has 3-level voice actuation. So if you wanted it to like be quiet in the breaks, you could turn on the Insta record and whatever. And You know,
That's fucking sick.
fucking try everything though.
You might be walking out of here tonight.
Try
You
fucking
gotta keep
everything.
your eye on that thing, Jay.
Yeah. Well, now you told me, so I mean.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, that came from an office building clean out. So if you really think you need to try it out, man, take it with you and bring it back when you're done. That's all.
Jason
You know how it
said
rolls.
he recorded a whole album with one of those as a microphone. That's awesome. Loves that thing.
What, that little Panasonic Slimline thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someday I'll climb
And
in.
Beatrice has one too. Genius.
Yeah, and if you go to Sylvia Massey's video, she just shot a video and some guy went and interviewed her in like a studio in Germany or somewhere. I think. I don't know where the fuck it was. I thought it was Germany, maybe not. But she's talking about, oh, you go to a junk shop before you come to the studio. As soon as you get into the town, you go to the thrift store. And what'd she pick up from fucking 6 feet in front of the drum kit? One of those goddamn things. Same fucking model, same everything.
Yeah. And they're ubiquitous too. They're everywhere, man.
Oh yeah, and that one I think was $4, and I think I have 2 of those. But yeah, I mean, there's a boombox in the closet that actually has stereo mics on it. That's what we used to record band practices too, like back in the day.
Yeah.
It's like a single cassette.
That's dope.
It's got paint and shit all over it. It's buried. Like if you went in the closet and went way the fuck over there, it's in there.
Bobby, Mike's expression on Mike's face. That reminds me, man. I saw you asked the question about the vocal mic I use. That's been coming up a lot. I have 2 different ones. I mean,
Were you running Task Vamp on that Just the Trick stuff?
was I running test? Yeah, I think I was on the. I don't know if I did it on the vocals, but
Sounded like it.
if they are distorted, then yes. Definitely test
I
it.
wouldn't say distorted. I would
Give
say
it a little bit. Give it a little
slightly
bit. Yeah.
hairy, like a little crunch on there.
Yeah. So definitely through the task vamp, and also all the instruments pretty much. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Is that your lead distortion? There's the one. I think it's the first song on there that has like a guitar lead in it.
Yeah. That's the POG, EHX POG through the task vamp.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my go-to lead sound now. Pretty much my sound for everything, but
There you go. Well, so much time and stress went into the fucking thing. You might as well use it for everything.
Fuck yeah, man. That's what I wanted it for, and that's what I know a lot of these guys want it for.
Oh yeah. So has there been any reports on? I'm gonna smoke, but I'm gonna smoke with the door open so we can keep talking.
Okay.
Has there been any reports on what these guys are doing with their devices?
I've gotten a couple of reports. I mean, maybe some people can report in right now about the task vamp. I know he was using that all over some of his stuff. I don't know.
Have you gotten like a bunch of fuck this thing that sucks?
Not a single one.
Nice.
There's been a couple inquiries. Like the one guy was asking about the
mid.
The mid.
Yeah.
Leo was asking me today about what the output was on it, just for clarification, and wondering if it'd be possible to do a future iteration that had an XLR out. But no complaints about this thing sucks. I know Andrew Ryerson just finally got a hold of his. I think he's finally back from the UK.
Jesus.
Andrew, if you're watching this, what up, buddy? And he sent me a pic of it on Instagram. He said permanent fixture on his board. So it seems like most of the peeps. I mean, I would assume no news is good news, and anybody who's reached out is just inquired about future features and just to say that they're fucking feeling it. So I know I'm feeling it. But yeah, so really quick to answer the question, the Just the Trick stuff, Bobby. The stuff I was going into the Tascam 424 was just. I have a really nice AKG C414 that I use for vocals and guitar on that. It's a really nice mic. It's a lot of money, but I splurged on it back a few years ago because I also wanted it for drums and things, and I use it a lot. I was just sick of this shit that I had, and it's very versatile. But that one, I mean, I just use it just for the sake of just because it's a condenser mic. I think any condenser mic. I think the 2 main kinds of mics you can get for your vocals are a condenser and a dynamic. I mean, some people sing into like a ribbon too, but my point is, I use that one sometimes depending on the situation. But my go-to mic for live and stuff that I have set up all the time, ready to go for even just scratch shit, is a SM Beta 58A. So Shure Beta 58A. I don't think it's SM, but another Shure mic. I mean, it is an SM, but not a. I don't know the exact delineation of it. Basically, it's a souped up. This is what I say. It's a souped up 58. So for my voice, you know, the timbre of my voice, I've just always liked an SM58. Really simple, pretty much what you can find anywhere, pretty cheap. And then when I started doing stuff live with the drum machine a few years back, I had read about the OCs using a similar mic from that series. I forget the name of it, but anyway, so the Beta series apparently has better feedback rejection, and I remember seeing a video with the OCs, and they were essentially, you know, they always use their own PA, and they were using this mic like in front of the PA, and it wasn't feeding back, and I was like, how the fuck is that possible? And it turns out like the mics are just they're really good at feedback rejection. So that was the reason I got it, because I started using my own PA, partially inspired by the OCs, and also I just always wanted to try it because I really liked the 58, and then I did some research on the Beta 58A. I hope I'm saying the name right. I don't know. Yeah, I just got that mic. You could get a used one for pretty cheap, and if you don't like it, just resell it. But yeah, so I don't know. For a while, I used the 58. That was pretty much it. And then the one I had got essentially damaged and destroyed, and I mean, it wasn't like completely dead. I had to do some stuff to it, but like that. And then, you know, I was like, fuck it, I want to try getting this again for live. And then that wound up. There's just something about it, the frequencies that it bumps or whatever. It just sounds. It really complements what I'm trying to do.
They're just saying in the comments that I got really fucking loud.
Yeah. Well, it looks like I have like a huge gut. I guess I do.
Is your...
I think because you're over here. You were in front of the... Before you were in front of the...
No, it was like 2 minutes ago that those comments came in. I was behind the camera. Is it possible that your phone is defaulted again to not accepting the input?
Oh, shit. Yeah, Stefan said loud now. What?
When I was just standing right there?
Yeah.
So is this loud?
I don't see how that's possible.
Or is this loud?
That thing's a fucking brand new adapter. Unless it's somehow picking up both. Well, look, we could test this out really quick. You guys sound a mile away when you're sitting. That's loud. Loud and clear when you're behind the camera. Fuck. How is that possible, though?
So it's got to be picking up off the phone somehow. So the phone is not accepting the audio input, evidently.
Yeah, but last week it worked fine with the Dad, what the fuck? Last week it was working fine with the now am I super loud now that I'm behind the camera? I'm still here. I don't get it, man. Last week that was working fine with the whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
At my house with the but then again we used a different one, but this is that brand new one they sent me back.
Yeah.
Unless they just repackaged the fucking thing, but I don't know why they would. Yo, Jody, what's up? Is that like not...
That's it.
Oh, sorry, Matt. All right, sorry. It's never worked fine at this location for me. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is partially the issue. We could turn the phone around, or try unplugging it, but... Sorry, fam. That's no wonder. Because I thought we were doing this. Just stay there and talk, you guys. Fuck. I don't understand why that would...
I have no idea.
Because...
That mic path is cranking hot, so if it was working into your phone, it would be working into your phone.
Let's try unplugging it really quick. Take your earbuds out and just stream a bit. It's not bad from across the room, but it's not as good. Okay, well at least, yeah, I mean, I guess you guys wouldn't be hanging out if...
But it's loud as shit now?
How is it now? Yeah, we just took out the mic. I mean, not that the mic even seemed like it was working, but... What the F, man? That's so effed. The diner sounds great. Well, that's because we have it pointed towards us, like with the mic.
Now not loud at all.
It's the same with no mic. Now not loud at all? Really?
So if we plug this fucking
Alright,
back
we're
in,
gonna try, but J def sounds louder and clearer.
it's because I'm standing behind the microphone.
Right. How about now? Was there any difference between us talking just like a couple seconds ago and now? When I talk into this, is there any difference? Do you hear me louder? Am I like super fucking burning loud right now, or is it about the same? No difference. Not really.
So the phone's not taking the input for whatever reason. Huh.
I don't get it though, because the other one, we should bring that. We should try that with Mike next week too. I mean, the one I could have, like that one they gave that I gave to you, it was brand new, no?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they sent me a brand new one.
Yeah, right out of the package.
Because this was the issue with the old one of these. It like shit out, and then. But yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. Basically it's not feeling that. It's not making it seem like that connection is valid then. But I don't get it though, because last week, unless it was still on the phone, but I'm pretty sure it was through the C414.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
But the only difference would have been that other adapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on this board in here, my gain is like, the fader's all the way up at the top, and the gain is like plus 58. That should be like cooking, even with the DI box in line. That should be cooking.
So the other thing is like, the mic, the phone would be muted if that thing was working, because it would.
It would.
Yeah.
So it's got to be in the jack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But why does the other one work though? It's so weird. Because right now, it's so strange though.
I don't
Unless
know.
it didn't work properly last week and we just thought it did. I could have sworn that I remember. I don't know. When people were getting closer and further from that mic, it seemed like it was getting louder. But maybe last week too, it wasn't working right.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I guess maybe my phone is fucked then. Fuck. Well, guys, this is what we gotta do, right? This is how you live and learn, man. This whole time, that's so funny. Do you want to try, like, maybe jiggling it a little bit and see if it cuts in and out or something? Be wary, guys. We're gonna check out some stuff. This is my favorite part of the show, hands-on learning. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if we tried to do this and if you tried to make anything perfect, we would never do it. We wouldn't even be here, right? So it's always it's a constant assessment, reassessment, and figuring shit out. Maybe next week we'll try to make sure that either I get a new phone or troubleshoot what's going on. This is whack.
All right, later on there, bean trees.
All right, later, James. Thanks, buddy. Good luck with the boilers. Good job fixing that flood, buddy.
So we here in.
May the jazz flow like salmon of Capistrano. Thank you.
It's probably still loud as shit, I'm guessing.
Yeah, how's it now? Any difference? Is Jay still bumping and I'm further away? It's got to be that connection though, because if it like we were saying, if it was actually connected, the phone would be muted right now, and you wouldn't be able to hear shit.
Right.
What a baffling thing, man.
Yeah.
So really quick for everybody listening
Yeah,
out there.
it's still picking up off the phone.
Okay. Has it been the same the whole stream? If anybody's been here since earlier, has it been the same audio quality the whole time? I mean, I guess we could check tomorrow when it's uploaded, but just out of curiosity, was there? Because I remember at one point we were adjusting the volume and people were saying that's better, that's worse, or like it's not loud enough, and we adjusted. People were saying that's good. So like, was that just the power of perception, or was it working before and then somehow shorted out or some shit?
Yeah, it's been the same the whole time. So
Okay.
it hasn't been picking up off the desk mic the whole time then.
All right. I mean, I don't want to move the phone because it's
No, I
like
wouldn't.
perfect, and it seems like
It'll go
for all the streams we've done, this I think this looks like the best one. But at Jay's here in terms of like it not tripping out. Fuck, man, that's really annoying. That's really annoying. But hey, thanks for sticking with us. It obviously can't be too terrible. I feel like the sound is always really important. If you guys really hated it, you probably wouldn't have hung with us. So thanks for hanging with us through the sound issues. And I don't know then, man. I wonder then if that's the same one or if.
It's got to be an issue with the phone, man.
Yeah, the thing that's confusing me is maybe. Because the only other thing I can think of is that other adapter I have now has a right angle connection. Maybe that somehow hits the spot.
I don't know. It's got a little
That's what
little
she
hook
said.
to it. It hits the spot a little easier.
Yeah, that's what she said. I don't know. I'm not really sure what the.
I don't know. I don't possess anything else that's TRRS, so I don't have any other way to test it.
Yeah. I just think it's so weird. I'm just wondering now if last week. Because it would have been the same issue last week. The phone is pointed this way. Maybe because my bedroom is smaller than this, or, it's okay, but we had the phone the same way, and it seemed like.
Well, the room that you're sitting in is much more acoustically dead than your bedroom is.
Right.
Although the room where the phone is not.
Everybody said, too, last week, right? They were like, oh, audio is on point, It was looking good.
Very weird.
It's very weird. It's got. I'm guessing. Yeah, it's either something with the phone and this adapter. Somehow that adapter's not working right, or they somehow repackaged it. It didn't seem like it though. It seemed like a brand new fucking thing.
I should see. Neutrik probably makes a TRRS end that I can get. Just make like a legit fucking cable for it.
That's what's weird though, man. Because I remember trying this out on my old iPhone 5. Because that's when I was like checking out to see if this thing was working or not.
Yeah.
And I remember it too was like didn't work properly.
That's very weird.
So I'll have to check this. I'll take this adapter back too and see if it even works with the other one. And I gotta have to check the stream from last week and see why it worked, or if it was like the same quality. That's so weird. Maybe that's it then, man. Like it's just been the power of perception, like going back and forth between the two pads, like it's just the difference in the sound somehow with the rooms. But I could have sworn that it was the mic was working last week, but now I'm thinking maybe since that day we tried it here and it seemed like it got busted, or I dropped it or something, and it just hasn't been working. But no, because that cable wasn't working because I tested it. But we used this one the other week too. We should go back and look at the stream we did a couple weeks ago here and see if it's the same audio or better. Or different at least.
Well, it should be pretty easy to do.
It's gotta be the phone connection now, man, because like we were saying, even if the adapter worked, if it's not connecting with the TRRS, or if that stuff's not working properly, it definitely wouldn't Anyway, so this stream, if you're just joining us, this is a performance art piece called Two Guys.
Called What stream is it anyway?
What stream is it anyway?
What
two guys try to troubleshoot a TRRS adapter for iPhone SE.
So we're on what stream? What stream is this? What number do you know?
I want to say 65.
No, 65's got a picture of your house on it. So
Whoa, really?
64 would have been here.
64. One of them is the diner stream too.
That's a weird one. They changed their messages. Thinking about.
Where's that one? Is that out here?
Yep.
And where was I standing right there when I was
Behind the camera.
Oh fuck. Is that the one at my house now?
What?
Is that the one from here?
That's one from here.
Damn, sorry about the audio. We're gonna get this figured out. I might need to get a new phone or something. I'm thinking about getting one anyway, but
It kind of sounds like
see if you can build the
going
one
to your house.
Yeah.
From last week.
Alright, guys, I got a new challenge for you. It's called the egg challenge. Grab an egg, 2 fingers, and try and pop the egg.
sounds like a room sound, doesn't it? Oh, but I'm behind the camera.
Eating stuff.
Because you're like right next to it, right?
I'm right next to the mic.
We gotta eat too.
Well, I mean, it's like the pre-Christmas tree or shit.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. You're right.
Back, man, lean back.
That seems like the mic's working.
Yeah, that's definitely the mic.
What the fuck? So it gotta be this adapter again then.
Yeah.
So then it didn't work that first week then.
No, 64A and B were the first week. That was the last one from here.
So did they just repackage the fucking adapter then?
I don't know.
It seemed like a brand new one. I'm gonna try it out. I'll try it out again too and see if it works on the other phone. That was like the best thing I could have done was like see if it works on different phones, because then it's like very clearly the adapter. But I wonder if there's a way to test it on your phone.
On mine?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if the.
Oh, if you have the TR, yeah.
Well, I have a TRRS, but I don't know if it's the right.
Oh,
affirmation
this is
for
the other
4 years.
thing. Now I'm thinking, the other thing that complicates this is the new phone doesn't have just has a lightning port.
Yeah, but they make an adapter for that.
Oh, okay. Ah, you know what though too? They make mics that are just like lightning, but then you can't charge it. Well, I guess you can get a splitter. They make like Rode, Rode makes a little mic that hangs off the side of it. I think it's like $50. We'll look into that. This is fucking annoying though. I don't understand. The only difference now in the setup is that it's got to be that fucking adapter then is not working. Here I thought we had 2 adapters now. We could just split them between places. Oh, anyway, what's going on, guys? We're fucking going off here. Oh, Joe's here. What's up, buddy? Joe, did you get your tape yet, buddy? I did not hear the new Raconteur song. I gotta check that out. I saw the video for it. I know there's, I don't know, whatever happened to those guys?
Who knows?
They had like I remember like 10 years ago or something, they had like an album then. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be compatible. Check your posture. What? I am sitting like a fool. I don't know if that's for me, but... Nice, dude. I'm glad that it helps you on the way to the corporate slave show. Yeah, thanks for making the art, man. Thanks for making that video. I figured you'd be down with. I use that as the insert. It looks really cool, man. It came out really good. That's hilarious. Joe said I showed my parents the artwork at Christmas. That makes me feel really good, man. I like that. That's really cool. Thanks for showing it to your parents. I mean, I know it's for you to show your artwork to them, but thanks for showing. Like, I don't know. I just like the whole thing, man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that at least you can hear us. We could just be dead completely, but now I'm so confused. Yeah, maybe this adapter somehow isn't compatible, but this is the one I used for years. Or not years. This is the one we used the whole time since I had it for this.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Unless, is it possible somehow that thing got shorted out again? Is there any way you think it gets shorted out by the setup?
I doubt it. I mean, it's.
I'll have to test it out again. That's the only thing, man. It's like, I'll have to go and see if it doesn't work again on my stuff. I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just like spinning here. I don't understand what the deal is. Oh yeah, I like Beulah too, man. I just thought they was a really cool band. I don't know what happened to them either. It was like, I think it's just the tale of all indie bands. You know, it's like they make music that's really cool, but it's it's not worth it, or they don't have time to do it, or it's hard to make it work among all the people in the bands. And I mean, that's a real big reason I started doing stuff by myself, and just I don't know. It's hard to find people after a while, and that sucks though. Yeah, they were a sick band. I don't know. Thanks. That's a great comparison. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thoughts on Guided by Voices. Here we go. We've almost made it an entire stream without mention of a certain group, which I think is amazing.
That'll be
Which
nice.
actually good because I forgot the alarm to make the sound for it. Yeah, I mean, Guided by Voice is sick. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fanboy. They've definitely grown on me over the years. I think people's biggest complaint about them is that there's just too many tracks, or like, what is it called? Not climate control, but having some sort of creative control, or I can't think of the word.
Filter?
Yeah, it's kind of, but I think that's what's cool about it and refreshing about it, and knowing the story of the band. It's kind of like they just got together, would blast something out, and then move on, and the nature of the guy's job. And I think that's just super ahead of its time too, in terms of today's culture and today's world, and kind of where I feel like I've been heading with stuff is just like, if I sit down to do something, I have the inspiration for it in that moment, and then it's kind of gone, and I move on to something else, and that's like the transient nature of like art today, and the internet, and I guess stuff's always been like that, right? It's always been hard to keep your stuff in the public eye, even as like an artist
Sure.
30 years ago. But I think just with the online thing, like that's something I've been wanting to make a video on, like the 24-hour news cycle. Like it's really hard. I think it's 24 hours to a week, right? But like even that guy Threaten, Jared Threaten, I made that video about him, the guy that conned all these places into doing this thing. He came back and had this statement recently, but like even that guy who made this huge fucking splash on all this shit, like
Go on.
it was hot for like a week, maybe
Sure.
2 weeks, and it was gone. And that's something that like took the fucking music world by surprise. So just figure something that that's the thing with PR, man, and paying people to do PR. It's like at some level, if you want to succeed, you have to be constantly getting your stuff out there in front of people. And one way to do that is to pay somebody $3,000 a month to fucking make a bunch of articles about you and put them in fucking the places where people read about music. I mean, I'm so naive because I didn't realize for so long that that's how the game is played. But that's how the game is played,
Totally.
I used to think just based on your merits, silly me, as a musician, and focusing on just making yourself a great musician, that's something people will recognize, and but that's obviously subjective, right? And also that's just not how it works. It goes by how much money you got, what do you look like, how much money you got.
Yeah.
And I guess that's, I mean, maybe that's the way it is, but I just wish there was a more. That's a lot we say. Wow, that was a weird. That's a lot we say. I started sounding like Forrest Gump for a second, unintentionally. But just genuineness, man. Like authenticity. Like I don't know. Something I think people miss from the world a lot. I know I miss it. But anyway, Jay, what do you think? Wrap it up. We're 9:07.
Oh.
I just was looking down. JPC, what's going on? I think I said hi to you. Any good stuff coming out? Oh yeah, so Freighter Tater, aka Jody, who I saw bumping in the chat, sent me the OP1. That's the big news for 2019. Yeah, I've been rocking out with it, learning how to use it. I got a lot to learn. That thing's very deep device. But yeah, I made a track with it. I'm thinking about either making a video showing off the track I made, or it's a very cursory understanding of the device. Like I only had it for a little bit, messed around with it for a little bit. I fucking love it. I love the tactile nature of it. I love the sounds on it. I've never had like a real. I mean, I've had synths before, but there's something about this one that just. It's like the Digitakt. Like it's just something about it for me personally. I just want to sit down. It makes me want to play it. So I have it set up, and I've been sampling it into the Digitakt and then looping stuff, and just kind of learning how to use it. And yeah, I was telling Jody, I think it's really going to take.
Well, the OP1 will record and sample and loop on itself, won't it?
Yeah. I've been meaning to try that out. I just haven't figured out, only had a couple hours with it, and just getting over like the interface and figuring out how to use it and what all the buttons do, and it's really crazy like how much is packed into something that's very small. But yeah, I'm excited. 2019 is going to be big, Bobby. That's going to be an ongoing music device. Maybe I'll do some tutorials on it if I wrap my head around how to use it. But I want to like just make music with it and use it, and you figure out that 4-track feature is really cool because it's literally got like a tape machine in the screen. It's really cool. And that's what I was curious about checking out mostly too. I guess it's a 4-track recorder, much like other ones, but it has an onboard mic and other things, and it'd be fun to see what you can do with it. I know it's treaded territory. A lot of YouTube people have done it, and people have done stuff, but I'm really curious in terms of that stuff. So, Jody, thank you so much for sending it in. I'm going to make some really cool shit with it this year, and like I said, I think it's going to take me in a new direction musically. I want to try to. One thing I've been trying to do, Jay, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, is because I write a lot of stuff with chords, like power chords or whatever, bar chords.
Yeah, you're a bar chords guy.
I'm going to try to mix. I think the next thing I do when I'm doing with Jason, this thing, I'm going to try to make it no bar chords at all. That's the new challenge.
So you're going to play cowboy chords?
I don't know. Maybe just leads or like licks or riffs or just things that don't require like a bar chord. Just like maybe two strings at most, and then like just lead stuff. Like just challenging myself to try to step outside of like the comfort zone of always using bar chords.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool alternatives to bar chords. Things that sound really good, but you're gonna need more than 2 strings to accomplish most of them.
Yeah.
Although with 2 strings,
Maybe I'm just thinking cordless then. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say with 2 strings you could play all the presidents of the United States of America?
Well, I mean that wasn't what I was thinking, but you could. No, but like you could play like what are those dominant thirds?
Yeah.
Between like the E and the A string, and, like chug those in the right fingering positions. They're nasty as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also like the Jimi Hendrix like kind of like inverted stuff I remember learning about at one point. I forget exactly how he did it, but I think it's kind of like something with his thumb hitting the root note, and then I don't know. I'm
Well, the
butchering it.
inversion is when you move the 5th above the root.
Maybe that's what. Yeah. maybe
So it
that's
would be
what
like taking the whatever the 5th is and playing its octave, which is below, I guess, the octave step of the root of the original chord. But that's not that hard to do. In fact, I do that probably more often than I should, because it just sounds so fucking meaty when you do it. But add 9 chords are cool too. You ever fuck around with that?
I think so.
It's where you play the power chord and then you go. So like if this is the root, this is the 5th, then this guy goes not under the 5th, but a whole step higher. So he's playing the 9th.
Yeah.
Those are
Those are
nice
cool.
and meaty, but you gotta stay high on the neck because they're hard to fucking stretch for sometimes.
Yeah.
Those really sound cool though.
My hand is kind of fucked up too. I don't know if I ever mentioned this story to people, but I cut up this finger pretty good on a table saw at one point. My ring finger on my left hand, and it's very hard for me to play bar chords with my ring finger. So I pretty much I don't really use my ring finger that much. I use my pinky to do bar chords.
That's weird.
Yeah, so it's hard because my finger's fucked up. Like it doesn't bend the proper way anymore. Because basically they had to like sew it back on because I was a fucking dumb idiot. But yeah, that's why I don't know if nobody's ever commented on it, but
I never even noticed.
if you look at the videos, I always play with my pinky, my ring finger. I can do some stuff with it, like fret notes, but just the way it's they had to surgically attach it and then make it so I can actually use it. I don't really notice it most days. It doesn't.
What did you do to get it? To make that happen?
Fucking table saw, bro.
Oh.
Yeah. You could. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You could see. Yeah.
Damn, I never noticed that. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't quite get it on totally straight when you straighten it out.
Yeah. No, it's like
It's got like a roll to it.
it's fucked, man. Like look at it compared to my other finger.
Yeah.
And then so this is where they had to reattach it, and then here the way that because it got reattached, there wasn't as much motion, but they can cut another part of it to make it so that it like you know, it's pretty much functioning. Like I can make a fist. Like the fact that I
You
have
have
like
feeling in it or no?
yeah, I have full feeling. I didn't cut a nerve or anything, but it feels weird. Like if I hit it on stuff, but for the like most days, like I don't even fucking notice that it's a thing. Like, but I mean, I could be Mikey Mikey
Right.
Nine Fingers right now. So the surgeon I had, man, that guy he knew what he was doing.
Interesting note about the Greg Sage stuff. I never really paid that close attention to the way he voiced chords, but I'm gonna dig into some of that. I've listened to a lot of Greg Sage, but I always kind of listen to it at like face value. It always kind of sounds like power chords with a finger in the wrong place. So I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
Thoughts on John Bryan? Yo, Joe, you gotta come through the streams, man. I fucking love your prompts for not only us but the chat, man. It's so fun. Like
It's John Bryan.
John Bryan, he did a big like he recorded some stuff for Elliott Smith at one point. He does a lot of soundtracks. He did stuff for Fiona Apple. He did the I Heart Huckabees soundtrack, which I think he has a very distinct style, which I think is the thing I like the most about his stuff. Because I think the most important thing to develop as an artist of any kind is something that as soon as somebody hears it, it's like that's Jay Anderson. You know, it's like that's that dude.
I'll show you how you play that. Fucking show you how you play that.
But you know what I mean. Like having something that's so distinct, like I think that's the hardest thing to do as an artist is because we can copy other people and maybe that's how you find your voice, right? But you know, again, Mac DeMarco, somebody who comes up a lot. Like that guy is such a singular. I met this girl lifting the other day, and she was listening to all these songs, and it was all influenced by Mac DeMarco. It just sounds like copies of it, you know. It's like people find that style, they fucking love it, and then they copy it to death, and then it becomes whatever. But there's something about the way that he plays the chorus effect, whatever, very distinct style. Like, and I think like that's something the hardest thing to develop as a musician, you know. And it's easy to steal it from other people, but I think and I think you have to steal it from other people for the most part, but I think it's in the way that you put together those stolen influences to create something new.
Yeah, but no two people play guitar the same way, even on the same song.
Sure. Yeah.
It just isn't because we don't all hear it or express
So
it the same
maybe it's
way.
just time, and maybe it's just over time of getting your stuff out there. You know, like I don't know. All I know is when John Bryan, like if I hear something and
Well,
it's possible that guy, produced it, I can tell pretty much
I think
right away.
But I think what forges your own style is, or the way that most people forge their own style is by still extrapolating little bits of everybody else's style.
Sure.
I don't care who you are, like, you know, all these people who are heralded as, you know, like fucking pioneers of their genre or whatever, like, they're all listening to, like, John Lee Hooker records and shit, like, don't fucking kid yourself, like, they all got that shit from somewhere. It all came from fucking somewhere.
Yeah. It's how you steal those pieces and
like,
put them back together,
Yeah.
or put them together.
Yeah.
You know, you take a little bit of this sound from Nirvana, you take a little bit of this sound from old blues stuff.
And it doesn't have to be the sonics, it could be, you know, like with the Nirvana stuff, maybe you like the way that, like, Kurt Cobain, like, rolled off of his G chord every time he played a fucking cowboy G chord. There was a roll to F, you know, to F sharp or F or whatever before the next chord happened. It's just a thing. It's like a natural progression in his hand that's how it worked. And almost every song where that shit happens, there's that move in there someplace. You know. But yeah, totally. I mean, and even the way that you like when you pick, you know, there's a million ways to pick the same chord. You know, maybe your tendency is to not pick the root as hard, but you put the, let's call it, inflection into the lower strings as your wrist flicks, right? So you're still getting that root, but you're getting the jangle out of the bottom of it more than you're getting that top. You know? And we could sit here head to head and play the same fucking chords and it'd be,
that sounds really different,
basically two different songs. It's just the way it works, man.
Yeah.
But that, all that shit really, like, even if you pick and choose little pieces of everybody else's style that came before you, you still have to put it all together and make it come out your fingers. So no matter how exact those copies were when you took them in, when they come out, and now melded into something totally different because, like, you know, you could learn Carlos Santana licks, like, note for fucking note, but I guarantee you, like, put in the fucking hot spot, like, with a cover band behind you and you gotta rip those fucking leads, you don't sound like that guy anymore. Guarantee it. Note for note, you still don't sound like him.
Yeah.
Because it's in the hands, it's in the, you know.
Well, and that's the other thing too about, you know, people using different equipment. I think this has been coming up personally, like on Trash or Fantastic with all these different pedals.
Yeah,
like,
but like,
they all kind of sound the same because I play this fucking same way.
sure. But like somebody like Santana could come over to your fucking house and strap that Silvertone on and still sound like him.
Well, yeah, that's what the point I was
Yeah,
getting was
yeah,
like, no matter
totally.
if you take guitar player, anybody, person A, and put them
Yeah.
on like person B's stuff, they're gonna sound like person A. You know,
Right.
but that's the funny thing about people like, oh, if I get pedal X, I'll sound like person X. It's like, no.
You'll have his range of tones or her range of tones, their range of tones. But that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
That's why there hasn't ever been another Nirvana.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why
people
there's
have
only
access to the stuff.
that's why there's only one Rolling Stones. You know,
Nice.
that's why Jerry Garcia only went around once.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's because like these people and you know, there's fucking millions of musicians. You know, those guys are all just tips of the same iceberg. But yeah, everybody that has ever played and gained any notoriety as a player, or as like the player's anti-player in the case of like a Kurt Cobain figure, or you know, somebody like that. You know, their style is known. It all comes out of the digits, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know then. I don't know how you develop that your own style. I guess.
I think it
Keep
develops for you. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like the way that you can force it to develop is by,
Like intentionally trying
Well,
to do stuff.
well, maybe, but I think the way that you really get it to develop into your own thing is by pushing your limits of knowledge. You know? Because even, let's say you're learning scales, right? Even as you learn scales, whatever your natural picking style is going to take hold in the way that you express that scale. Right? Like you learn some crazy, like fucking bendy, fucking diminished, you know, 7th chord, some crazy shit down the fretboard, like, yeah, it's gonna voice differently for you than it does for everybody else, just because you pick it differently than everybody else does.
Hmm.
You know, and the next guy the same, and on down the line. It's all in the fucking hands, man. And that's something you can't learn or unlearn, I don't think.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's like just naturally who you are. Like kind of.
Yeah.
That's it.
In rock and roll, anyway. I mean, I think a lot of like those, like the classically trained like concert guitarists, they don't really have a style. They express it the way the paper tells them to, and
Right.
one for one, and that's how it's done. You know. I do think with like bowed instruments and things like violins and cellos and
There's got to be a lot of
double bass,
variation. Yeah.
huge, and those people, their art really is the space in between. You know.
Yeah.
It's the bend of that note and the hold and the, you know, the vibrato that's happening in the
Isn't that
pinch.
crazy, man? Like, of all the people that play instruments, like it's almost like no two people, like guitar players. It's like,
Yeah.
no two people can sound the same. You know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But we could all sit around and learn the same licks and try to pretend.
Well, I know that's
I
what you were
guess,
saying, man.
yeah.
If you had 5 people and passed a guitar around and said, "Hey, play this song."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thoughts on Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours. 10,000 hour rule, you know about that, right?
No.
This guy said that, you know, if you want to master anything or become, like, known in a field, like, you got to get 10,000 hours of practice in, you know? And I think that there's something to be said about that. And I think it's true, but I think there's also the caveat to that idea is you have to practice right. You know, and what I mean by that is, like, yeah, if you practice like the same thing, you got to be practicing in a way that's challenging to how you have carried on with whatever you're trying to get better at. So, like, I don't know. I mentioned this in one of the podcasts recently. It's like, you know, if you want to get better at something, like say like soccer or football in the UK, it's like you just sit there and kick a ball against the wall for 10,000 hours. Like you probably get really good at kicking that ball against that wall for 10,000 hours, but it doesn't mean you're gonna be a master soccer player. Like
No.
so, I mean, there's a I think if the 10,000 hour I think is true, but it's not just 10,000 hours of like showing up and doing it, which definitely helps, but it's also 10,000 hours of like putting in the sweat. That's like, well, how can every time you sit down at what you're doing, you somehow have gotten better at it? I think that's the challenge of the 10,000 hour rule. You know, it's like if every time you sit down to play the drums, you're learning how to play something new or challenging yourself to do something you couldn't do before you sat down, then I would say that goes toward the 10,000 hours. But if you sit down and you don't make any progress and you're just kind of practicing like however you practice, I don't know if that would really count toward. It's like a practice that's really geared toward getting better at some element of what you want to be a master of. I don't know. That's been my interpretation of it. Like,
I think when it comes to guitar, if you want to try to become the master of your own instrument in your bedroom, let's say, right, in your practice space, whatever it is, you got to keep stay within your wheelhouse, the genres and things that you like to play, but figure out how to reinterpret those things and learn new ways, even songs that you know, man. Like try playing that in a different chord voicing. Like, it'll change. It'll fuck up your whole life. It does. I'm telling you right now, it'll fuck up your whole life. Like I don't know what the progressions are, but like take Little Wiser and turn that shit into like some upside down, like, you know, I don't know, some weird capo cowboy chord fucking inversion thing. Play it like Jay Mascis would have played it. You know, it's the same goddamn notes, same roots.
Yeah.
But it expresses as a totally different song.
Right. Huh.
But well, we're at 9:24 now at the tail end of that tangent, so I think we should probably call it.
Oh damn, dude! How did that was like 20 minutes? Just like
yeah, I know. Lost in the gap.
What the fuck?
Lost
man?
in the fucking gap. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Hope y'all had a good
Yeah.
holiday, whatever your holiday was or wasn't.
And dude, this is the last stream of 2018.
Yeah, so
next time we see you guys, it'll be 2019.
Peace out to 2018, into the 19. Do something. What?
Is next Wednesday? It's New Year's Day, or is it New Year's? It's not New Year's Eve, right?
Monday is New Year's Eve. Tuesday's New Year's Day.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Yeah, so we're fine.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like this if you like it. Make sure you subscribe and.
If you're gonna
click on the
party
bell.
for the new year, get a Lyft driver.
Yeah, be safe.
Call Uber.
Call in the professionals.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
don't kill anybody.
Yeah, and don't get
kill
killed.
yourselves either.
Yeah. What else?
But yeah, do something you want to do.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Sorry once again about the audio. I don't know why, but we're gonna get this straightened out. I'm gonna test this shit out. Test this adapter out this week and see what up.
Eventually.
This is fucking frustrating. I don't know. I can't figure it out unless.
I'm not really that frustrated about it. They can hear us.
They can hear us. I just like. Again, the 10,000 hour thing, right? Like, make it a little bit better next time. Try something new. Get better at it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
If we did 2 hours of live streams a week for a year, you know, we're 104 hours deep into the 10,000 hours. So we're not even.
Barely fucking scratched the surface.
1%. Is that 1%?
The paint is still intact.
10%?
We've scuffed it. But yeah, so anyway, as we were, like, subscribe, email him, email me.
Yo.
Have a good new year.
Yeah, and let's like take the power back in 2019. Check out the pod tomorrow. It's a good one.
Fight the power.
Zach De La Rocha, Warrior Poet. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get really loud for a second, so hopefully I don't blast anybody out. Yeah, fam. We'll see you guys next week. Pod.
Should I play Old Lang Syne on the way out?
Yeah, why not?
Hold it.
All right, we've got some exit music. Friend speed, my gods. I think that's my favorite flip of that saying. Coop, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about the audio. I mean, Jay doesn't seem to be frustrated about it, which is good.
I mean, I set this thing up, and if it didn't work, then it is what it is.
Ah, it just sucks.